show is brought to you by iRacing.com, where you can get 2 free months with the purchase of 1 for only $12 by going to iRacing.com/membership. Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Darin and Jason here with
Jason Dunnington.
And today we're doing a quick look at where Gran Turismo 6 is after the most recent update, 1.08. But we're going to touch on the Ayrton Senna content and just some other areas of Gran Turismo 6. And now, Jason, you've been running Gran Turismo since the beginning.
Since it first came out. Yeah, that was my introduction to sim racing, so to speak, I suppose. And yeah, then just moved up and graduated to PC racing, which...
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
So, and he's only dabbled in GT6 here. Little bit before, actually you did the Ayrton Senna content when it first came out,
right?
A couple days or about a week ago. Then before that, you've only run just a handful of laps.
Yeah,
in Gran Turismo 6.
A handful of laps and a handful of cars for sure.
So he's run the Senna content with I have fairly extensively. We've run quite a few laps, and actually Jason we got some footage of him here driving the Formula 3 car and the Lotus. So he's definitely run enough laps to get a good feel for it, and pretty much compared to, you ran GT5 a ton.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean you even did like league racing in it, right?
Yeah, league racing, and I was getting into GT Academy and then decided to switch to a wheel then, which was probably my downfall.
Because you were so used to the
controller,
muscle memory and the controller.
And then trying to set the wheel up properly was rough.
So again, this content, the Ayrton Senna content, came out on May 30th. After a ton of hype from Sony.
Yeah.
They've been hyping this since before Gran Turismo 6 came out. And it's basically called the Ayrton Senna Tribute. And it takes you from the start of his professional racing career in a DAP racing kart. And then he drove something, I think, between the kart and the Formula 3. But then they put you in the Formula 3... WRS or something like that. Anyway,
right.
You got it running right here in the background. It's Formula 3 car that he raced in. And then they put you in the Lotus 97T that he drove in 1985. And before that, he had driven another Formula 1 car, but then went to the Lotus, and then graduated to the McLaren, and then the Williams, where unfortunately he passed away. So this content also provides some... Did you get a chance to see some of those slideshows?
Yeah, I went through and was watching those. Yeah.
Those are pretty cool, and it goes from talking about him as a kid and how much he was into driving, shows when he first got into karts before that DAP racing kart, and then again there's slideshows going up through his Lotus career.
Right.
So basically, what this new content provides is 3 cars, the slideshows. And then a new challenge, an Ayrton Senna challenge, which puts you in the kart, then puts you in the Formula 3, then puts you in the Lotus. So, and in those you can get, you know, the standard Gran Turismo trophies, bronze, silver, gold.
Right.
I won, I think, 5 million credits going through.
That?
Yeah, going through those and getting the golds. And then I also won the 3 cars. So if you gold, actually I think if you silver in some of them, I'm not even sure because I pretty much golded and then went out, but they give you the cars once you've completed those. And 4 of challenges, there's 1 each in the kart and 1 in the Formula 3, and then 2 challenges in the Formula 1 car where you go to Monza and Brands Hatch, and you basically have to try to beat his pole position times or his world record-setting times at those tracks in the Lotus.
And they were pretty challenging.
They were. It took, actually, I sat back down in the Lotus today at Brands, and you have to hit a 107.1. And I sat there for probably a good, on that particular one, a good half an hour. By the way, we turned all the assists off.
Yeah.
So back to the challenges. Once you get through those 3, there was a 4th one. And I was hoping that I was going to get in his McLaren or his Williams.
It's the next step up in his career. Exactly.
And that didn't happen. The 4th one is basically a tribute video about the Ayrton Senna Institute that Ayrton created to help children in Brazil to help get access to an education. That was cool that he took the time. I'm a big Ayrton Senna fan, by the way. I watched the movie Senna, and he, in my opinion, was probably one of the greatest race car drivers of all time. Still sets records. I think he still has the most wins at Monaco, I think with 6. And he was the rain master.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the rain, no one could touch him.
Multiple world champion in Formula One. So he was, I mean, and he did stuff in that Lotus and even the car before that that was just amazing considering it wasn't, you know, the same stature as some of those other cars.
Right.
So, and I know some people out there aren't fans of his because of his aggressive way of driving, but
you still got to respect the man.
I liked the way he drove. I liked that he was aggressive, and he was also big on safety too. So anyway, we're getting off track here. Let's get back to Gran Turismo 6. So again, I was a little let down that it ended at that 3rd challenge, and honestly that there weren't more tracks within the challenges.
Or a little bit more closely following his career, or like you're running a whole series in with him in there, you know, battling against him possibly, or being him in the series. That would be cool.
That would have been cool. You know, as far as having the series, you know, like in Formula One, I'm sure them getting the licenses for all those cars and all those tracks from that era would have been difficult. But again, I would have liked to have seen more.
Right.
So let's transition from that and talk about the cars. And let's talk about the physics and force feedback and how they feel. And I thought they felt pretty damn good. I enjoyed driving all 3 cars.
Yeah.
I like the physics and force feedback in these cars. I think they felt really good. Comparing them to a PC sim, I still think they're lacking a little bit.
Flat.
But considering they're on the PS3 and PS3 is a dated system, I thought they felt damn good.
Yeah.
So let's go to sounds. These 3 cars seem pack a little more punch than, they don't have the vacuumy sounds. Like actually, you were sitting across the room and I booted up the Lotus today and it popped your head up and you're like, wait, what are you driving?
Right, did you switch to a different title or something?
Yeah, and it was these cars. So I like the direction they've gone with these 3 cars, but let's back up to the other cars. And I went and looked at an interview that GT Planet did back at E3 last year with Kazunori, and they specifically asked about the engine sounds. And Kazunori's comment was they're working on a new sound engine, and they hope to have it by the time GT6 launched, which, and if they didn't, basically I was under the assumption that in one of these patches that were coming,
we were going to get a downloaded update.
Yeah, we would see a sound update. Now, some of you hardcore GT fans are going to say that I'm nitpicking, or we're nitpicking the sounds, but we drive every single title. And I would say, as far as sounds go across the board, and yes, you need good sound effects in a simulation.
Yeah.
They are the worst in sim racing.
Right. They are actually the reason why I started having music running in the background, because the engine tone, it's just sickening. It really is, compared to anything else that I've run.
And again, the Lotus and the Formula 3 car and the kart, I mean, the kart does it, it's just a
But still, even that had a big improvement in the sound.
It did. And so, you know, we went and drove some of those new Vision cars, and those sounds were lacking.
But yeah.
They still had the vacuumy sound, so...
You could hear a little turbo, you know, some, and the pop-off valve a little bit more. That was a little more pronounced, but yeah, they were still just on the low side of quality.
We went and looked at some videos on YouTube of the sound effects in Gran Turismo 4, because I was thinking, are these current sounds even much better than what was on the PS2?
Right.
And honestly, they're not. They haven't made, if any, much of an improvement since Gran Turismo 3 and 4, and that was on the PS2. And so I'm definitely still disappointed, because this title, it could really add a lot to this title, and in my opinion, it would drive me to drive it more. I'm sure it would drive you to say, hey, can I take this home and play it?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I'm only thinking the reigning popularity in GT6 and why everybody still loves it so much, and I agree with it too, is the GT Academy. That really gave them a huge step up to focus on.
I can't believe how many people are running that. I ran in that,
yeah.
And honestly, the Leaf as the first car to run, but
It was a good challenge for you got to keep the momentum up.
It is, but there was like, I think when I first ran, I was like ranked 5 in the 500,000.
Right.
So that shows that a lot of people are running this title, and
yeah, today I did good, got a gold. I'm still 40. We're still 43,000.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people running that GT Academy, and that's something I like to mention just really quick. Is it's really cool that Sony and Polyphony have put the finances behind doing that, and a lot of those guys have become
successful. Nissan too.
Yeah, and Nissan, exactly. A lot of those guys have become successful race car drivers.
Right.
So it's really giving an opportunity to go from this to a real car.
Getting in the real, yeah.
So I got to applaud those all of the people involved in that they're still keeping that going, and really giving an opportunity and showing the world that you can go from that to becoming a professional race car driver.
And I still try to catch episodes every time I can see them on TV.
They're fun to watch. Yeah. I like it. It's like it's a reality show, and it's really cool to follow what's going on. Actually, I would like to say it's great to see that they continue to update it, and that once you buy it, it's coming up on 6 months old now, and they're still breathing new life into it by adding the Ayrton Senna content, by patching it and adding, adjusting the economy. But I want to see more. I would like to see more out of Gran Turismo, and who knows if we're going to see it before Gran Turismo 7. Maybe they're saving this all for Gran Turismo 7, but I'd like to see that sound update that they...
For the love of God.
I wouldn't say that he promised it, but it sure sounded like he was hinting towards something.
Sure kind of thought, I was under that same impression that we were gonna get those in this title, and I would play it a lot more personally.
I would too, and it would honestly compare closer to there's no secret that I'm a Forza 5 fan, and I definitely prefer it over Gran Turismo 6. That's pretty much going to wrap it up. We wanted to keep this quick, just do a quick update on where Gran Turismo is now, the fact that they've updated, talk about the Ayrton Senna content, which, as much as they hyped it, I would have liked more.
Right. Well, and for the amount they hyped it, you would have figured they would have delivered more. And that just, it kind of fell flat. I liked it, I really did. But I just was expecting, I was like, well, what else do we got? And then it was nothing.
Well, and another thing really quick, once you own those cars, you can drive them on any track.
Yeah.
And, what would be fun too is racing multiplayer, with everybody running the Lotus.
Right.
That would be a lot of fun. And that's an area that I didn't touch on much in my review, is that how populated Gran Turismo 6 is on the multiplayer side. There's lots of leagues you can run, lots of quality racing going on.
And it was like that in 5 too, which was really cool, because we were running leagues there. So
lots of options too, as far as what you can do setting up races, full distance races, pit stops, and all that stuff. So it's probably one of the best as far as multiplayer goes on the console.
Yeah.
So that's going to wrap it up. Hopefully you've enjoyed this quick look at where Gran Turismo 6 is today. We're hoping to see more, like we said. Come to our website, isrtv.com. Matter of fact, I have a link right here. And if you're on a mobile or a tablet, you're not going to be able to click on that link, but come to isrtv.com. Lots of coverage on Gran Turismo, as well as every other title you can think of in sim racing, and on the hardware side as well. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. Like us on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter.
For Jason Dunnington, I'm Darin Ganji. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a great one.